Today is one of those days I wish I could show you all my entire outfit because this look is giving everything it's supposed to give. You can only see that much. The shirt is thrifted, this top is thrifted, the skirt, I think I got it from a Black Friday store, can't remember too well. Anyway, that's what we are wearing today. Welcome friends to another episode of Life with Petali. If you're new to this channel, you're a little late, but don't worry, grab a seat and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time I post a new video. With that said, let's get into today's video, and I am absolutely pumped to do this video because I get to show you guys how I moved from a very chaotic person to now a planner. Grab your drink and let's get into it. Let me give you guys a bit of background. I used to be the kind of person who wakes up and decides what they're gonna do that day. Except for my outfits, I kind of feel like I've always been planning my outfits before time. But every other area of my life, I would just wake up and say to myself, let's see what the day has. Whatever we win, we win. Whatever we lose, and we welcome the next day. So that's how I used to live. Chaotic, I know. But I loved it. Did I? Until a few things happened, then I realized, oh, I cannot continue living like this. Now I literally plan everything. What meals we're having for the week, what tasks I have at work, even my free time, I literally plan for it and I'm loving it so far. If you're a spontaneous person and you're wondering if you can ever become a planner, I hope by the end of this video I get to convince you that you can actually become a planner, and that you also get to see why it's important for you to be a planner. Way before I became an entrepreneur, before I had adult things to do, and even when I had some adult things to do, like I told you guys, I would just wake up and see what the day has to offer, and that would be my life every single day. Living like that made me feel like I had so much freedom. I could do whatever I want, whenever I want, for as long as I want to do it, and that flexibility was so exciting. I used to even think maybe that's how I wanted to live the entire of my life. Just waking up and whatever finds me that day finds me. Whatever doesn't, it can try tomorrow. On the flip side, sometimes I would run into so much stress because I missed deadlines or I forgot to do something. And I slowly started to realize that I was not maximizing my potential. I would give some tasks so much time and others I would just rub off, or I would just rush through them as if those tasks were not important. I actually gave more time to things that were easy for me to do, things that I loved and enjoyed doing, but the things that I needed to do and was super important, I just rushed through them, and sometimes I wouldn't even do them at all because life is here now. We need to live in this moment and not think about tomorrow. Until one day that I had to call myself to a meeting and be like, you know what? You cannot continue living this way. It's really bad for you, really bad for your image, really bad even for the people that you interact with in the future if you do not work on this. So let me tell you what happened. And you have to promise not to judge me. At that point of my life, I was working for a non-profit. I had flexible hours, so not a problem. I just had to make sure I did all my tasks. And over the weekend, I had makeup bookings. So during the week, I would do a lot of content, and slowly brands started to notice me. And so this huge Kenyan cloth brand reached out to me. They wanted to collaborate. Girl, was I excited. I was so excited for this opportunity. We agreed on the day to meet, and of course I was coming from way down there in Rongai, and we were meeting somewhere around Riverside. So I know I'll definitely have to use a couple of means of transport to get there. First of all, I couldn't use an Uber all the way from Rongai. I would have probably had to pay 1,000 shillings, which even if I had, I didn't think I wanted to spend that on an Uber. So I had to take a matatu to maybe Kenyatta, then take a motorbike to the location, or maybe take an Uber depending on the weather and things like that. So I get ready, do my makeup, my outfit. I'd been thinking about this outfit for days, and I get into a matatu to go to my location. First of all, I was already late because I had no excuse. I knew that I was coming from a place that the traffic was crazy, so I should have left home early. I should have really left home early. I should have even found things to do around the place of the meeting so that I'm on time at least. I think we're supposed to meet at around 5 or 4:30 thereabout. I got into the matatu at 4:30, thinking miraculously I would get there by 5. The traffic on that day was crazy. I remember thinking to myself, I can't even get off this matatu and walk. There's no alternative route. We were already past where you could take a different route, so that was the only way. Even if I took a cab, we would still be in that traffic. So I was there, stuck, regretting my choices, and I also didn't have a phone number of anyone because we had been communicating, I think, via Instagram or email. So I didn't have nobody's number. And so I'm just there feeling so bad, so bad already. So it's 5, I'm still in traffic. 5:30, that's when I actually arrive at Kenyatta. And so Kenyatta to Riverside, you would need to take a motorbike, which would be around maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes max. So we didn't even arrive exactly at 5:30. 5:30 we were approaching. Long story short, I arrived there at 6 p.m. Guys had already had their drinks. They were actually about to leave. They didn't know if I was ever gonna show up. Literally one of my favorite Kenyan fashion icons was seated there. Have you ever just wanted the world to open up and swallow you? Because why was I showing up at 6 p.m.? Everyone was done. They were leaving, and then I'm showing up. I felt bad for myself, honestly. I felt so bad for myself. I could have avoided that whole situation. But because spontaneity is life, I showed up at that time. Anyways, by God's grace, somehow I still ended up in this campaign. We shot the content. It was so much fun. But that was my turning point. I knew that I needed to become better. I needed to do better for myself and for the people that would meet me in the future. So I started small and I got a journal, and every important appointment I would put it down in my journal. So I just bring a notebook with me all the time. And I can promise you guys, I have never been that late ever in my life again. That was the first and the last time, and I felt horrible about it, and I just knew I needed to change. Something also interesting, I'll tell you guys for free. Marry someone you know that can make you better. So my husband and I are opposites. I'm very spontaneous. He's such a planner. He is such a planner. I've gotten into small fights sometimes because I've not told him in advance I want him to do something, or I want us to go somewhere, or so and so invited us and it's a day 2, and I'm like, oh, by the way, so and so said we should go and see them tomorrow. And I never used to think it's a big deal because they're our friends, so we can just go tomorrow, or oh, can we do this thing tomorrow? But he is the kind of person that likes to know 2 weeks, a week, a month in advance so he can plan himself. I always used to feel like, why is it such a big deal? Like, let's just go and then we'll come back home. We've been home all week, or we've been all weekend. It's actually nice for us to get there. So it took me time to understand why he had always been insisting to know things in advance. And now that I'm here, now that I'm on this other side, I'm still getting better at planning, but now I understand him completely. I understand why you need to know 2 weeks, a month. And now that I also moved to the US, people schedule things months in advance, years in advance. That's how serious scheduling and planning is. As a person, I also didn't do so well with routines because I always felt like, why should you box yourself in a routine when you can do whatever you want? My husband is very disciplined. He will stick to something. I remember this one time he had committed himself to read the whole Bible. He would wake up every single day at 4 a.m. What was I doing? Sleeping and turning in my bed, and I would wake up and find that he had already gone to work. And I'm waking up thinking, okay, what should I do today? So I've never been a natural routine person. So all the things that I'm actually doing now, I've had to learn. I've failed so many times, but somehow, because I understand now how important it is for me to have a morning routine and an evening routine, I still get up and do it, to the point that now I have a very comfortable evening routine. I need to work on my morning one, but I'm getting there. Mostly because after graduating and all the assignments, I just felt like It had been a long 2 years, so I'm kind of finding my way into a routine again. Let's fast forward. I decided to go back to school to do my master's, and within the first 3 weeks I met this girl who had her Google Calendar so perfectly done, color coded, different appointments, different classes, and I was like, girl, you need to teach me how you do this. And I'm actually so grateful because she took the time, showed me how to put all these things on my Google Calendar, how she had done her budgets and all of that. And I knew that this has been the missing piece. Besides just having my notebook, which sometimes I would forget to carry, having this on my calendar and getting those reminders 30 minutes to an appointment or something was honestly the best gift anyone could have given me at that point in my life, because I was also starting school. I needed to be in check with all of my assignments. I loved the process so much. I loved how my calendar, even though it would be booked the whole while, but just seeing the color codes and knowing, oh, this is this kind of appointment, this is work, this is class, this is family time, I have lunch with this person. It helped me save so much time and feel organized and not run into problems of double booking. While still at school, I also took up so many more responsibilities in student leadership groups, so I needed to become even more organized and divide my time accordingly for all those tasks, but also have time for myself, have time for my husband, my family, do all of my assignments in time. So it was absolutely impossible for me to get through that without learning how to plan everything. Up until date, my Google Calendar is my go-to for planning all my appointments, scheduling meetups, even scheduling calls. And now, even with my content, I'm planning weeks in advance. I'm planning when I'm shooting YouTube videos, when I'm shooting Instagram content, when I'm traveling and I want to create content. I promise you, days before, I have a notebook and I'm planning what reels I want to create, what shots I want to do, and it just makes the process so easy. I know exactly what I need to do. Plus, when I have the sketch days in advance, as I get new ideas or if I want to edit a few things, I do that before the day that I actually shoot. Ever since I became a planner, I have less emotional stress, have more time for myself because I can actually schedule time to rest, or I can schedule nothing on my calendar just to do things that I want to do in the house or just watch a movie. Without doing that, I would be doing things every single day, and sometimes those things are not beneficial at all. If you've been living spontaneously and now you want to get your life organized, I would recommend starting with an area of your life. For example, if you go to the gym often, maybe start by planning your workouts. And as you keep planning and sticking to that plan, that success is going to motivate you to want to plan other areas of your life. Before we go even further, I'd like to talk about how not planning also affected my relationship with God and my ability to study God's word. I would always say, oh, today I don't feel like it, or I'll do it tomorrow, and I kept procrastinating, and sometimes I'd go months without reading my Bible. I know, terrible. But now that I literally plan every single day of my life, I have a specific time to read the Bible and to pray, and sometimes I'm just looking forward to that time. Don't aim for perfection. It took me a lot of years to actually get to where I am today. I'm not even perfect or close to perfect, but it's the small steps and the consistency that will actually get you there. Use tools that actually match your style. You don't have to use what everyone else is using. For instance, I said I just prefer to use Google. It works for me. There's people who use different apps, different tools, but as long as you just have a tool that can help you plan. You could prefer to just write it down. If that works for you, then grab a big calendar you can put all your appointments on. Anything that works for you. Don't try to force yourself into what someone else is doing. Just be you and be true to yourself. My final tip for you is to celebrate your small wins. Even if you just planned one single task, that's already a job done. It's not about moving the mountains. If you can lift one rock today and another tomorrow, before you know it, the whole mountain will have moved. It's sadly time to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you've had to make this shift in your life, what has worked for you, what are some of the tools you've used, and let me know if you guys want to see my weekly planning routine. Bye guys, see you in the next one.